Hi everyone. I just think we're going to wait a couple more minutes before, just a minute or two before we start, just to make sure that all those who can join us are in today. Right, it's 2 minutes past 9, so if we kick off so that we don't fall behind on timings too much. Thank you everyone for joining us today. This is our second webinar, our briefing webinar for Medica, and helping all of the UK companies exhibiting with us to prepare for the event and get the most out of it. Those of you here today would have spoken to me quite a lot, but for those of you who haven't, I'm Michelle Michelucci, the head of international events at ABHI, and Medica is one of the events which we lead on. We also run Arab Health in Dubai, and there's CMEF in China and Future Surgery in London, which is taking place next week alongside Medica itself. We have a fantastic team at Medica this year. We've got Lottie McMahon, who's also on the call today. We've got Jonathan Evans as well here, but we'll hear from them in a few moments and they can introduce themselves. Later, just after me, we're going to hear from Hiba from DIT. We've got Julia Price, our PR consultant, and then we'll hear from Jonathan and Lottie. So, on to the event. Before we do, if we can just have a bit of housekeeping, which is if you can put your phone or your computer onto mute, unless you've got a question. If you would like to use the chat function to put your question in there, we'll be able to address it at the end. Of course, if you've got any questions, it's a great opportunity to put those forward and for us to be able to answer you before the event. Just to let you know, this session is being recorded. It will also be made available on the UK website, UK ABHI website under Medica. So if you'd like to see our previous webinar and the further ones that we've got lined up, if you go into international and then go into Medica, you'll see it listed. So that's on the ABHI website. For those of you who have attended Medica before, you'll know it's a bit big. We've got about 18 halls. This show is rather massive, and part of that large event is a great opportunity for you all to be seen by a host of visitors, manufacturers and distributors, all interested in European and worldwide health technology. And within that, we are in Hall 16, as you can see circled on that slide. And next door to us, we've also got Hall 17. These are the two international pavilion halls. By being part of a pavilion, it means that you have an elevated brand in terms that you are acknowledged underneath the UK flag as such. And all those international interests who want to come along and see what the UK has to offer will come along to Hall 16 and see you on the pavilion. Not only that, but you're part of a larger footprint as well, which gives you a bigger presence at the show in itself as well. We've got, in terms of exhibitor access, on Sunday, if you can arrive by between 12 and 5 o'clock, It's great for you to be able to come along, have a look at your stand and make sure that everything is as you expect it to be. Or if anything has been forgotten to be ordered, or if there's a last minute requirement, you got ourselves and you got the stand builder there at the show, and we're able to fix things if we've got enough time. So the earlier that you arrive, the better. There's no need for badges on build up. In actual fact, at Medica, you can just walk straight in on build up. That's not the same for other shows. This is just a unique scenario with Medica. But those of you who've been exhibiting at the show many times, you'll know that that's the case. Make sure that your name board is correct on your stand, that there's no spelling errors on there. That's a key one to be checking. And any of you that perhaps are having problems with your flights or aren't able to come along early enough, let us know and we'll try to be able to support you as best as we possibly can. I can take photos of your stand for you and email it across. Due to being on site, emails will be a little bit slow. So if you need anything urgently, please just, if you can text me, call me on my phone and I'll get back to you and I can send you through some photos. So at the hall, as you can see, we're in a great position here. Firstly, we've got Saudi, who are below us. Obviously, Saudi is a great market. I know that the Middle East is a great opportunity for many companies and a region which there's a lot of growth in. So it's very poignant that in actual fact they've got the blocks below us in the hall. Great networking opportunity as well, bearing in mind that we're in a country pavilion hall. It's a great opportunity for you to go along and see these different countries and try and develop contacts. To the right of us, we've got Korea and Finland, and then above us, we've got Canada as well. And this is all a great location due to the fact that we've also launched our presentation area. So part of the presentation area is we looked at 2021 last year. We looked at what we were delivering at the show and how could we make it better. And part of the initiative to make this better is that we've appointed a new stand contractor. I'm sure you would have heard from them quite a lot. We've got the Big Picture company building our country pavilion at a much, much more higher quality, elevated branding, very, very sleek, bespoke finish to the entire pavilion. So those of you who've been to Arab Health will see a similar design. I'm sure that you're going to be really, really pleased with how the whole pavilion area is looking. Also, part of that is the fact that we listened to some of the feedback that we received about the event Medica generally, and we wondered what we could bring in that would be a little bit new and different, and how could we support UK SMEs the most. And the resounding sort of feedback that we had was that the best benefit of exhibiting at Medica is the networking opportunities, getting in front of new clients and being able to be seen and heard in a way that's a bigger opportunity than they could achieve by themselves. Granted that some companies can be at fledgling stage and some can be at different areas, but the most important part here is connecting with people and having meetings with them. So not only part of that, we've introduced the presentation area, but we've also introduced more promotional aspects too, which I'll come on to. So those of you who have got the presentation slots, part of your package includes 20-minute presentation slot. I know that we've been hounding some of you for some of that information, so thank you for providing it to us. But it's a great opportunity. Again, as I said, we've got Canada above us, we've got Saudi below us, and we've got all the other country pavilions around us. And so your presentation is going to be available for all of them to be able to come and listen and see what you have to showcase and bring to the show. There's been a lot of promotion around the presentations and the whole pavilion and your presence at the show. For example, one of the elements that we're going to be doing also is we'll be doing leaflet drops to all the country pavilions, letting them know about your presentations. And also we've been in communications with the commercial offices. I'll let Hiba come on to that in a moment. But we've got a fantastic pavilion this year with DIT having a joint stand with us. So as you can see in the middle of the floor plan there, you've got ABHI and DIT. We're housed in the middle and our stand is open on both sides, which makes it open and welcoming for everyone to be able to come through and network with the whole delegation that we've got on our stand itself. The presentation area here, if you can see, This is the theatre has been designed in a way that it's open on all three sides with a large screen at the back for the attendees to be able to see your presentation slides. It's open and welcoming for people to come past and to be included, be able to take a seat or be able to stand around the edge. I think it's the success of presentations sometimes is to not be too exclusive with the delivery of it, and in actual fact to open it up for as many people as possible. There'll be a lectern on there with lectern mic, so you'll be able to talk into the microphone and be heard by everyone. The hall can be really noisy, so it's very important to have those lectern mics which actually receive the best sound quality for all of the visitors. Behind it, you can see we've got our stand, and on the other side you've got DIT as well. And there'll be table and chairs in there. DIT have a private meeting room and they've got the commercial offices on their stand. We've got table and chairs on our side and a semi-private meeting room on our stand itself. As an exhibitor, you get the opportunity to use our catering facilities, and also if the private, semi-private meeting room on our side is available, then by all means you're able to come along and have a meeting on there. On the Tuesday, we have a drinks reception that's also taking place, and that is on the presentation area that you can see here. Obviously, I think it's probably going to spill into our stand itself because I think it's probably going to be quite popular. That's Tuesday at 5:30 until 6:30. So, in terms of how we are promoting the event, I mentioned about the presentations, mentioned about our collaborations as well. So this year, we're very fortunate to have co-sponsored by Welsh Government. And we've also got Sidley Austin, who have co-sponsored the presentation area at Medica. And part of that is all of the promotional aspects and feeding into the virtual pavilion itself. So as you can see here, we've got the UK Healthcare Virtual Pavilion. I'm sure you've all heard me talk about it ad nauseum. And as part of your package, you've all received your own profile onto the website. So in this, the Virtual Pavilion website is the landing page for all of the UK activity at the show. At Medica, as well as other shows as well. It's also the front door for the life sciences sector itself with we've got news, features, interviews from key opinion leaders on the homepage, in the newsroom as well. We've also got an A to Z of UK companies, generally speaking, across the life sciences disciplines, that's bio, pharma, as well as medtech. But more specifically, we have the listing of the events. And under Medica, we have you with a silver profile, which lasts you a whole year and not specifically restrained to just Medica. But as you can see, there's an A to Z listing on the page on the virtual site. We've also got the UK activity programme, which is where your presentations are all listed, and also the one-to-one meetings with commercial offices. So the main promotion around the event, in collaboration with DIT as well, is to bring everyone to this landing site for the UK activity at the show, trying to make the communications for visitors very clean and clear, so there's no confusion. Where do they need to go if they want to find out what's happening at Medica from a UK perspective? And this is the landing site for them. And this is where you'll be benefiting, already are, from the activity that's coming through to the site itself, with people either being aware of your presentation or even booking a meeting with you in advance. So whilst I was at the show last year, we were obviously told not to bring any printed material along with us because of COVID. Thankfully, we don't have those restrictions in place anymore to be concerned about. But one of the resounding questions that I had coming through to me was from international investors, as well as international general attendees and visitors, saying, what does the UK have to offer? Which is a huge question to be asked, and one that is quite hard to give all the justice to all the devolved nations and everyone who's involved, and you know, to make sure that the entire country from top to bottom, including Northern Ireland, is all benefiting from evenly. And you can advise people to go to websites, but in actual fact, sometimes at these exhibitions, they want something physical to take away with them. So this is where we launched the UK Healthcare Pavilion magazine. It's had a resounding level of interest already. I'm sure that you all know about it as we've been hounding you for your profile information. But within the magazine, we've got an introduction forward from NICE. We've also got NHS England, and we've got features and spotlights in all the devolved nations. And we've got DIT also taking 6 centre page spreads. Within the magazine, you've got the UK directory, and this is where you're listed under there in alpha order, and your profile has a QR code taking people back to the virtual pavilion site where they can see the full details from your profile, where there's no word restrictions, and you can have as many documents as you like on your profile. So it's really important, just before we get to Medica, right now is the time for you to check your profile on the website, make sure that it's all up to date, and make sure it's slightly phrased more relevantly for Medica would probably be a good strategy for you. The magazine is being promoted at the moment on digitally. You can see the link on your screen now if you'd like to have a look at it before the show, but we're also bringing it to Medica itself and handing it out to all the visitors who are attending. It's been promoted to all the commercial offices, to embassies. DIT have also been promoting it. We've got CSJ, who are our partner with delivering the magazine, and they have not only just brought it together for us and produced it, but they're also promoting it to all of their contacts as well. So there's been a huge amount of promotion around this, which you are part of, and as part of your package of being with us. So part of being at Medica is, it's an exhibition list. We have a drinks reception, and thankfully, now that we don't have to worry about COVID as such at this event, we are delighted that we will be having a drinks reception on Tuesday at 5:30 till 6:30. An email has gone around asking people to register if they would like to attend. You're not restricted by registering. It just gives us a bit of an indication of numbers that we're trying to cater for. But as I said, it will be on our pavilion, on our stand, on the presentation area. It's a really great opportunity, as you know, for those who've exhibited a few times, but it's a great opportunity to change the tone of voice in terms of your discussions with potential visitors that come to your stand. Sometimes it's good to just, rather than be on a sales pitch with them, break it into something a little bit more informal and invite them for drinks with you on the stand, and turn that relationship into a bit of a warmer sort of opportunity for you to have a relationship with them. But yes, we'll be delighted to have you all at the show. Also, to let you know, we've got an exhibitor meal out. This is just a way of us trying to say thank you to all of you for your support at the show at Medica this year. I know that times at the moment aren't easy, and we really appreciate your support and your investment, and I'm sure you can see the hard work that we're putting into to ensure that you have the best event possible. So on Monday, this is the first night of the show open. We are inviting you to come out for a meal with us at ABHI. We'd love to say thank you and to pay for the food aspect of the meal, and if you'd like to bring your colleagues along as well. If you could just let us know in terms of numbers, we'll be booking a restaurant, and we'll try and make sure that everyone's accommodated for. But I'll stop talking now, and I'm going to hand over to Hiba. Hiba is the Senior Manager of Life Sciences at DIT. I've had the pleasure of working with Hiba for the last few months, helping to develop and deliver Medica. And I'll hand over to you now, Hiba.
Thanks very much, Michelle, for the introduction. It's been great working with you and the team online. Actually, it's been fantastic. So hi, everybody. I'm Hiba. I'm from Department for International Trade, and I work in the science and tech team, covering the 3 areas that you can see listed on the screen right now. So the main thing from Department for International Trade to note is the presence of our commercial officers. And this year we've got 16 commercial officers coming with us, and they'll be from regions in Latin America, Europe, Asia Pacific, and Trinidad and Tobago. So you've got at least 16 different regions covered by each of our commercial officers, and you can absolutely book in one-to-ones with them. I encourage you to do that through the UK Healthcare Pavilion site. And also just to mention, if you follow the link through there, you'll actually also be able to access a really useful resource, which are the market briefings. So we had our commercial officers, some who are unable to attend physically this year, record regional market briefings. And what this will do is this will facilitate in giving you an idea of the market access barriers, how to approach the area, lessons learned, and also some case studies on UK companies that have successfully exported to those regions. So I definitely encourage you to take advantage of that resource. It will really facilitate meetings that you plan to have with them, as you'll have a bit more knowledge on the regions themselves. So from Department for International Trade, the presence will be from myself, our specialist, Dr. Neil Ebenezer, and Barney Willis, who's the Deputy Head of Life Sciences. And just to mention, which is also listed on the UK Healthcare Pavilion site, the talks that our specialist will be providing will be things about the potential future on the regulatory market and the framework. And as you know, that's quite a hot topic at the moment, how to protect IP and a company's trademark, and also more generally about the UK medtech landscape. Michelle mentioned that we have the drinks reception on the Tuesday from 5:30. We do also have a morning breakfast briefing, which is sponsored by DIT Scotland, and this is also on the shared ABHI DIT Healthcare Pavilion. And really, this will be a sort of informal pre-networking starting from 8:30. There'll be breakfast, there'll be a chance to speak with ourselves and ask any questions that you may have, meet some of the commercial officers that are with us on that day, and also there'll be the talk by our specialist Neil Ebenezer on the UK landscape and how to protect the company's IP. So I think that's it from me. Just wanted to put a face to the name, as you'll probably see me around the stand whilst you're there. I look forward to seeing you all, and if you have any questions, do get in touch.
Thank you, Hiba. That's great. Thank you very much. I'm really delighted that we're collaborating this year at Medica. I think it's going to be a fantastic show, and I think it's going to be pretty busy actually. So watch out, everyone. Make sure you bring all of your plasters, appropriate footwear, and all the other items that we all need to make sure we have the easiest show as possible. If I can then bring in Julia Price, I'm sure, again, you've all heard from Julia. She's absolutely fantastic. I had the pleasure of working with Julia again for about a year and a half now. Julia, if there's not a trade magazine or contact that she doesn't know about, then honestly, it isn't worth knowing at all. Julia's got fantastic contacts and promotes all of our companies as well as our activities on a fantastic level. So I'll hand over to Julia now.
Thank you, Michelle. A little bit embarrassed. I've got builders next door, so I do apologise if you heard lots of banging. But I'm not coming to Medica this year. I'm really sad, but we've got future surgery, as Michelle said, happening at the same time. But me and Jonathan will be at the show. You'll meet Jonathan in a few minutes. We've been working really hard to do as much promotion in the run-up, and I will be available on email. So if anybody does need anything next week, obviously you've got Jonathan face-to-face, but you can also contact me. But a few of the things I've been doing, we've got a media kit, which I've sent out quite a few times. If anybody hasn't received it or wants it sent in again, just message me today. That media kit really is just to help promote your presence. We've seen quite a lot of people use it over the last few weeks, which has been great, like Medica, Surgical Holdings, and quite a few others. There is a draft website article which you can put on your website. There's draft social media posts. There's an infographic and there's a video. And there's also an infographic about you speaking on the UK Theatre. So again, we just want to try and make it as easy as possible for you to promote yourself. So all you've got to do is just tweak it, add in your name, and then you can use it to promote. We've also been sending out lots of press releases, which hopefully you've seen. There's been some general ones about the UK Pavilion as a whole and the activity we're doing, and the same for DIT and their promotions. But then I've also tried to do as many as I can for individual companies. And I think I've done about 13, 14 in total for individual companies, to promote what you're launching, what you're showcasing, and just what your news is at the show. I've been sending those out to, as Michelle said, to trade publications. We put them all on the UK Pavilion in the newsroom. They're all on the Medica website, which last year we were amazed at how many people actually printed it off, the article from the news site, and came and found that particular exhibitor with it printed off and wanted to talk about the product. So it's a really great way to promote yourself. And we've managed to get them on the homepage under industry news, and they're all listed in the news section. If anyone hasn't had a press release but would like to be on the Medica site on the UK Pavilion, simply just send me a news story and a photograph, and we can add that. And like I say, we can also add that next week while you're there as well. So don't worry if you're not on there. We've also been doing lots of features, which again, I'll send around them all today, but CSJ, I've done about a 4 or 5 page feature where they included loads of you and there are lots of great photographs in there and what you're showcasing. Health Tech Worlds, I've done a great one yesterday, so I'll send that out. And that's just what they call an immersive feature, but there's loads of articles about the UK presentation theatre, the activities, what DIT are doing, and then spotlighting a few of the individual companies that are launching things. Life Science Industry, I've done a feature, and that magazine will be there at the show, and MedTech Innovation. So as well as individual news stories about the different companies, like I say, we've done big features to talk about that UK presence and really build the buzz of what's going to be there next week. Michelle's touched on your profiles. Everyone's got a profile on the UK Pavilion, so thank you for working with us on that. Going forward, if you've got any news at all, even if it's non-Medica related, please send it to me with a photograph, because I can upload your news all year round. So whether that's launching a new product or winning an award or company updates, just send them to me, and as soon as it gets put into the newsroom, we also have a really strong social media presence, and it's automatically put into the social media plan again. Talking about social media, we've pre-written lots of posts for everybody who's had press releases, so they're already done. If you haven't, just meet Jonathan at the show, and he'll come and take a photograph of your stand, and we'll work with you on what it is you want to promote. So there'll be loads of sort of social media posts, almost like live updates from the show about what everyone's doing, photographs of their stand, team photographs and launching. So there'll be lots and lots of activity, and that'll be running from the ABHI profiles as well as the UK Pavilion. So look out for those. I'm sure as well, I'm sure Jonathan won't mind, but if any of your comms teams are back at the office and you want us to take a photograph and send it back to them so they can promote, we can do that as well. So that's not a problem. I've done quite a lot of activity to promote the presentation theatre, which looks fantastic, and in the photographs that Michelle was showing there. There is going to be a LinkedIn blog hopefully going out today from Michelle, which talks about all the different presentations, and we'll be tagging everybody in there who's having a presentation. So please like and share, because as LinkedIn works, the more people that do that, the more people that'll see it, and we can really get that UK presentation area trending this week. Next, we've also done a daily article each day, so everyone's listed on what their presentation is, and that will be posted daily. So that'll go on the UK Pavilion, and it'll also hopefully go on the Medica website. So I'll be doing those from Future Surgery as well. So we'll get that on there, and hopefully again that will drive a lot of traffic to the stand, and of course that will all be supported by lots of social media posts with you tagged in. So please like and share and try and get as much activity around those as possible. And I think that's it really. I will send all the companies individually their coverage that they've been getting in different places. I'll also send everyone today those features I was talking about, just so you've got them. And yeah, just look out for all the social posts. And I'm sorry I'm not there.
We're going to miss you, Julia. Thanks, Julia. We're going to miss having you there. I think, yeah, you've been doing Medica for a few years now, so you'll be missed, and I'm sure I'll have a lot of people coming up asking where you are. But thanks for the information you just given. And if anyone wants to get in touch with Julia, please email her directly. Jonathan will be at the show though, so we're not missing out entirely in terms of our promotional opportunities. Jonathan is our Commercial Associate Director at ABHI. He's responsible for setting and implementing our ABHI's communication strategy. That's domestic agenda as well as our international requirements as well. So Jonathan, if you can explain to everyone exactly what you're going to be doing at Medica so that everyone knows what you look like, but also how you can help them.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. I suspect I won't need too long actually, because Julia touched on a couple of the points, the things that we'll be doing. But yeah, as you said, Jonathan Evans. So I look after ABHI's communications activity. Does what it says in the tin, really. I'm responsible for our social media, our website, our partnering activities, and general communications updates to our members, but also the wider group of companies that we support through our various activities, including our international work, of course. So really looking forward to seeing everyone at the show, and I'll be sure to stop by each of the exhibitor stands and to say hello and introduce myself. We already have quite a few social media posts scheduled to go out next week, but as Julia said, I'm going to be taking photos and getting some quotes from exhibitors, doing some quick talking head videos from those who feel brave enough to do it, so that we can then use on social media, and almost to present some live, what's on the ground content, to give us a nice sort of fresh feel to our social media. And then, as Julie mentioned, very happy to send that content to any of the folks back at your head offices as well, who may wish to use that as well. And then using some of that imagery and footage, we'll also stitch that together after the show into a longer video that we can then take then use to celebrate the event, and also use as a bit of a promo for next year's activities as well. Other thing I'll do, so I'll be liaising with journalists that will be at the show, and where possible I'll aim to introduce them to you guys as well, with a view to us getting as much exposure as possible for the pavilion in order to drive footfall your way, which is what all this activity is all about, really. And then as Julie mentioned, if you haven't done so already, but you do want to have an article added to the Medica website homepage, then send it to her, along with any good imagery would be useful, and we can upload that as well. So that's all I wanted to say, really, Michelle. It was fundamentally as well, I'll be providing a helping hand at the show. So if you have any issues whilst you're there, just grab me, and I'm sure between us we can help. But really glad to be joining this year, and very much looking forward to seeing everyone in Dusseldorf.
Thank you, Jonathan. I think it is really important just for everyone to realise what is available for them. If you want further support in terms of all the marketing opportunities that there are, this is the package. This is all at your fingertips and available. So grab Jonathan and ask him to help in as much as he possibly can. That's available to you. If I can pull in. Apologies, I realise I haven't turned the next slide. If I can pull in Lottie now, Lottie McMahon. She's part of our international team at ABHI. Lottie heads up the US work for ABHI, but she'll be at Medica supporting us at the show. Lottie, if you could give a little bit of an introduction to yourself, please.
Thanks, Michelle, and yeah, it's great to see so many of you on the call today, and looking forward to seeing you all in person next week at Medica. So as Michelle mentioned, so I'm Lottie McMahon. I work as an international manager at ABHI, but I primarily work on our US Accelerator program, which is the program ABHI created to help UK SMEs entering the US market. So that might be why our paths might not have crossed in until now. But I'm really looking forward to coming out next week to Medica to help support you all at the show and support Michelle and help you all to get the most out of the exhibition. I'll primarily be on the presentation stand for most of the week, so I'll be there to support with any questions or issues you have around any of that. Feel free to either email or text me or call. If anyone doesn't have my mobile number, I'll make sure that's sent out ahead of time as well, to be able to support during the show. as Michelle sort of touched on a little bit earlier, there are a couple of logistical bits around the presentation stage. Just thought it'd be good to run through now with you all. I know I think the majority of you have sent in your slides already, which is fantastic, and thank you. But anyone who hasn't already, we will just need those slides no later than the day before, just so we can make sure that our AV guys can run through, check it all works. If you have any videos as well, we can have those in the presentation, but there won't be any sound, just so you're all aware of that ahead of time. And when you do submit them, if you can just send a separate copy of the video as well alongside. So yeah, if those are just sent in the day before, that'd be really helpful. And as Michelle mentioned, it's a Alexa and mic as well on the day. I don't think there's many more bits around the presentation stage. I think Michelle's done a fantastic job of sort of sending you all the information ahead of time and running through it all. But I think really it's just to say I'll be there to support during the week. Really looking forward to it. And yeah, if you have any questions or issues in the day, sort of feel free to grab me. I'm happy to help. And yeah, if anyone as well is interested in the US market or other activity ABHI is doing as well, more than happy to have a chat about that with you at the show. So I've probably not used up much of the time, Michelle, but hopefully that covers everything.
That's okay. I think it's really important for everyone to know who the whole team are at the show. Everyone's spoken to me. If they haven't seen me, they're very lucky, because I'm normally trying to badger for something. But it's important for everyone to know Jonathan and yourself as well, so that they can see the whole contingency delegation from ABHI coming to the show. And Lottie, I'm sure everyone's going to be needing a lot of your support. Presentations is something we've not done before at this show. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions coming through. I think something really important to mention about the presentations is there's only a 5-minute gap between presentations. So this is where we're really trying to encourage everyone to send through their presentations no later, as Lottie said, no later than the day before. The technician needs to queue them up in order that he can literally just hit play for the next one, play for the next one. He won't have time between sessions to be able to queue up the next slide deck. That 5 minutes is the opportunity to give speakers onto the stage, and just give yourself a couple of minutes to familiarise yourself before you start presenting to everyone. So it's really important that all of that information is no later than the day before. We have been trying to push for presentations sooner than that, due to the fact that those who've got videos on their presentations, it is something that time and time again causes issues. And we ask for a MP4 rather version of the video alongside your presentation, so the technician can then try and work with it and make sure that it's running correctly. Lottie's correct in that there's no music permitted in presentations. That there is sound. You will be able to hear any recording, but no music is permitted. This is a requirement from Messe Dusseldorf, the show organisers. Not entirely sure why this is in place, but it's an important aspect that we should all be aware of beforehand. Otherwise, there is a fine that is handed out. So please ensure that you take off any music elements from your videos. That if you do have music but no verbal words, then we can always mute the video, and you can see the running screen of a video of something playing out or a demonstration of some sort. It's really important, as I'm just going to draw on some of the items that everybody's been talking about. Julia mentioning about social media, it works, it really does. And last year was testament. We had a few exhibitors that really engaged with Julia and used the assets that they've been given, and they had queues lining up to their stand. They had really successful show, and each time I actually went over to their stand to talk to them, I couldn't get through to them because they were busy, networking and selling and developing contacts, which is the whole point of the show, which is wonderful. But it does show that that double-pronged approach, where we work hard to promote you, but you're using your social media, using your contacts as well. Between the two of us, if we're all working hard to do this, then that's when you get the best benefit from being at the show and the best possible outcome. Make sure when people are coming to your stand that you're inviting them to come to your presentation. Sometimes where you've got a few people at your stand, you're not actually able to engage in a proper conversation with them. And rather than just getting a business card dropped to you or scanning a badge and then thinking, okay, we'll follow up on this later, It's a great chance for you to say, look, you know, if you'd like to find out a little bit more about this particular aspect or so forth, I'm doing a presentation tomorrow. Please come along and listen to it, and we'd really like to carry on our conversations. It's a way to kind of warm up that lead. That's a really good opportunity. Also to mention your assets, if you haven't received them, please let Julia know, or Jonathan as well, and they can resend them to you. Again, it's just a fantastic opportunity. ABHI also will reshare them so that all of our contacts are able to see it too. Julia mentioned her support isn't just around Medica, but by you having a profile on the UK Healthcare Virtual Pavilion, you actually get all year round support, and therefore send through information that you've got to her. Obviously, this does need to be top line sort of elements in terms of award winning and industry firsts, that kind of newsworthy headline quality of promotion is the sort of thing that she will be able to use on the virtual pavilion, and be able to do a press release and promote it that way. And once it's, you know, online in that aspect, we've got other people that come through, other magazines and other press and trade that come through, and they pick it up from the site itself as well. Drawing on to Hiba, obviously Hiba's had to drop out at the moment, unfortunately, but drawing in on the commercial offices, please go to the virtual site, book a meeting with the commercial offices, any markets that you're most interested in. This is a great opportunity, again, that they're housed on our stand in our pavilion. They're a captive audience for us, and again, invite them to come along and listen to your presentation too. That's something that we've been promoting the magazine to all the commercial offices and drawing them to the UK directory and to the activity programme as well. So that they're making sure that they're aware of exactly who's on their doorstep and who's around. We've also been approached by a few different markets asking to find out what's happening, and been really, really impressed with the lineup and the quality of content that all of you are providing to the show. So thank you for that. Jonathan, he answers to both, but he's a great asset to the show this year. He's new to Medica, so you'll join in with me with making sure that he has a great show, but he's there to your disposal, and there to help promote you. And so please make sure you've got his details and his contact, and grab him at the show. And just finally, just to say thank you to all of you for your time just now, and hopefully we've covered some aspects about the show that perhaps you weren't aware of, or you had some budding questions. I know that emails and communications at the moment are quite high, as you expect a week before an event, so hopefully we've crossed off some things on your to-do list. But if anyone's got any questions, please get in touch and let me know. You've got my mobile number from my emails. Please give me a call if there's anything that you need. We will be heading off to Medica on Friday. We're heading off Friday morning, so we'll be at the show. And the pavilion will be built by Sunday, and therefore ready for you to come along and have a look at your stand on Sunday. Just as a bit of a heads up in terms of Dusseldorf Airport, it's absolutely fine coming in, but the security aspect of the airport is a bit understaffed, and so they're saying when departing, coming back, if you allow enough time for your flight so that you're not delayed so much that you miss your flight, just something to be mindful of. Of course, I think one of the budding questions that we often get is, I need to leave on Thursday early. This is a tricky one, just due to the fact that Messe Dusseldorf do go around, and if they see an empty stand, they take a photograph of it and they fine it. It's not in the interest of the show for stands to be empty. Not only that, but there's a lot of visitors that come on the last day because they believe that it's quieter, and therefore they get more time with companies to be able to talk. So it's really important to, you know, if you were to send back a few of your colleagues, but just keep one behind, that's a really good strategy for you. If it's a case that the flights don't permit that to happen and you need to leave, please let me know, and I'll do my best to be able to help support you. If you try to clear your stand but not make it look empty. That's a good opportunity there, but hopefully you're able to stay for the entire show. We'll be going out on the Thursday night, nothing formalized, nothing arranged, but if anyone would like to raise a drink out in a bar in Dusseldorf, probably in Old Town, I'll be there and finally relaxing after the show is finished. But I'm really looking forward to seeing you all and having another really successful show at Medica. Thank you all for your time.